I have spent the last 3 years quietly watching something remarkable happen across Florida. Retirees who once dreamed of Miami, the glamour, the sunshine, the idea of it, are quietly packing up and moving somewhere most people have never even looked at on a map, not because Miami failed them, but because they found something better. Towns where a retired teacher on a fixed income can actually breathe again. Where mornings are slow, neighbors know your name, and your savings do not vanish by the third month. I found 10 of these towns, and by the time we reach number 1, you may never think about Miami retirement the same way again. Stay with me. Number 10, Inverness. Most retirement lists skip Inverness entirely, and that is exactly why it belongs at the start of ours. Tucked in Citrus County, this small lakeside town sits along the Withlacoochee State Trail, one of the longest paved recreational trails in all of Florida. And retirees who move here often say the trail alone changed their health within 6 months of arriving. What makes Inverness genuinely different is something called the silver sneakers effect. The local YMCA and community center have built entire social ecosystems around active adults over 65, and newcomers are absorbed into those communities within weeks, not months. Loneliness, which medical research increasingly links to faster cognitive decline in retirees, is something this town seems almost structurally designed to prevent. Home prices here remain well below the Florida average, and Citrus County property tax rates consistently rank among the most affordable in the state. For a retired couple living on Social Security and a modest pension, Inverness offers waterfront lifestyle without waterfront pricing. The downtown square has a quiet, unhurried character. Local diners, a historic courthouse, and benches where conversations between strangers turn into lasting friendships. If you have ever dreamed of a Florida retirement where your money stretches, your health improves, and you actually know your neighbors, Inverness is where that dream quietly lives. Number 9, Quincy. Here is something almost no retirement guide will tell you about Quincy. In the early 20th century, this small North Florida town produced more Coca-Cola millionaires per capita than almost anywhere in the United States. Locals bought Coca-Cola stock on the advice of a banker who believed in the product, and generations of families here quietly built wealth while the rest of the world rushed past them. That same unhurried wisdom still runs through Quincy today. For retirees, Quincy offers something increasingly rare in Florida: genuine affordability combined with a rich, layered history you can actually walk through. The Gadsden Arts Center, housed in a beautifully restored historic building, gives the town a cultural depth that surprises first-time visitors. Live performances, gallery openings, and community events create a social calendar that keeps retired minds active and engaged. The cost of living here is among the lowest in the entire state. A comfortable 3-bedroom home can still be found for prices that would be unthinkable in Miami or Tampa. Tallahassee sits just 20 minutes away, giving residents easy access to major medical facilities, shopping, and the airport when needed, without paying Tallahassee prices to live there. Quincy rewards retirees who value character over convenience, history over hype, and a community that has quietly understood the value of patience for well over a century. Number 8, Lake City. Lake City sits at the crossroads of 2 major interstates, which should make it busy and crowded. Instead, it has remained one of the most overlooked retirement destinations in North Florida, and that contradiction is precisely what makes it so valuable for the right retiree. What sets Lake City apart is its proximity to an extraordinary concentration of natural springs. Itchatuckney Springs, one of Florida's most beloved natural landmarks, sits just a short drive away. For retirees who grew up swimming in natural water and miss that connection, living near Ichitukni feels like recovering something important from childhood. The springs maintain a constant 72 degrees year-round, making them comfortable even when summer temperatures climb. Lake City Medical Center provides solid healthcare infrastructure, and the VA clinic nearby makes this town especially appealing for retired veterans. The cost of housing remains genuinely affordable, and Columbia County has invested steadily in parks, walking paths, and community programs aimed specifically at adults over 65. The town itself carries an honest, working Florida character. No pretense, no performance. Just good neighbors, accessible health care, extraordinary nature nearby, and a cost of living that allows retirees to actually enjoy retirement rather than simply survive it. Number 7, Chiefland. Chiefland is the kind of Florida town that travel writers never visit and real estate investors have not yet discovered. And for the retirees quietly settling here, that is the entire point. Located in Levy County between Gainesville and the Gulf Coast, Chiefland sits at the edge of what locals call the Nature Coast, a stretch of undeveloped Florida coastline that looks almost exactly as it did a century ago. Manatee Springs State Park sits just minutes from town, offering crystal-clear first-magnitude springs where retirees can swim, kayak, and walk shaded trails through old-growth forest. Research on retirement well-being consistently shows that access to natural environments dramatically improves quality of life for adults over 65. And Chiefland offers that access at a price point almost nowhere else in Florida can match. Housing costs here are remarkably low, even by North Florida standards. The community is small and genuinely tight-knit, with locally owned businesses that have served the same families for generations. For retirees who feel invisible in larger cities, Chiefland offers the opposite experience. A place where you are recognized, remembered, and welcomed. The slower pace here is not a compromise. For many retirees who spent decades in fast-moving careers, the quiet of Chiefland feels less like slowing down and more like finally arriving somewhere real. If these towns are surprising you, we are just getting started. The top 6 on this list include one town so affordable and so beautiful that retirees who found it are genuinely asking us not to share it. Hit subscribe right now so you never miss a hidden gem like this. It costs you nothing, and it means everything to a small channel like ours. Subscribe button is right below. See you in the next one. Number 6, Palatka. Palatka sits along the St. Johns River in northeast Florida, and it may be the most quietly dramatic setting on this entire list. The riverfront here is wide, slow, and deeply beautiful, the kind of scene that retired artists and writers have been quietly seeking out for decades. And yet, Palatka remains almost entirely off the mainstream retirement radar, which keeps home prices well within reach of retirees on fixed incomes. The Ravine Garden State Park, right inside the town limits, contains a botanical garden planted during the Depression era that blooms with azaleas every spring in a display so vivid it has drawn visitors from across the country for generations. For retirees who value beauty in their everyday surroundings, waking up minutes from Ravine Gardens is genuinely extraordinary. Palatka's medical infrastructure has strengthened in recent years, and its location between Jacksonville and Gainesville puts 2 major medical centers within comfortable driving distance. The town has a history as a river trading hub, and that layered past gives it an architectural character. Old brick buildings, Victorian homes, river warehouses that newer Florida developments simply cannot replicate. Retirees who choose Palatka are choosing a place with real bones, a town that has survived floods, economic shifts, and decades of being overlooked, and has emerged with its character fully intact. Number 5, Blountstown. Blountstown sits along the Apalachicola River in the Florida Panhandle, and virtually no mainstream retirement resource has ever mentioned it. That invisibility is its greatest asset for the retirees discovering it right now. Calhoun County, where Blountstown is located, consistently records some of the lowest cost of living figures in the entire state of Florida. The Apalachicola River here is not just scenery. It is a living ecosystem that supports one of the most productive freshwater fisheries in the Southeast. For retired anglers, moving to Blountstown is not a compromise on lifestyle. It is an upgrade. Early mornings on the river, catching fish from a quiet bank while the rest of Florida wakes up in traffic is the retirement many people dream of, and almost nobody actually finds. The community here is small and genuine. Neighbors show up for each other in the way that larger Florida cities lost decades ago. Local churches, community events, and the annual Panhandle Watermelon Festival give the social calendar a warmth that no planned retirement community can manufacture. For retirees willing to trade convenience for authenticity and busy roads for quiet riverbanks, Blountstown offers a retirement that feels earned rather than simply purchased. Number 4, Avon Park. Avon Park sits in the Florida Highlands, a region of gentle, rolling terrain that surprises visitors expecting the flat landscape most people associate with Florida. This elevation difference is not merely scenic. It produces slightly cooler temperatures and lower humidity than coastal cities, which many retirees over 65 find significantly more comfortable during Florida's long summers. Avon Park has something most towns on this list do not: a genuine downtown revitalization happening in real time. Local investment has brought new restaurants, art spaces, and community programs to the historic downtown area, creating an energy that feels optimistic without feeling overcrowded. The Highlands County area also has a growing healthcare network, with several medical facilities serving the region's expanding retiree population. Lake Isis, right at the heart of town, provides a peaceful focal point for morning walks, fishing, and simply sitting by the water with a cup of coffee. Home prices remain affordable, and the cost of daily life here, groceries, utilities, local services, runs consistently below the Florida average. What makes Avon Park particularly compelling for retirees right now is timing. The town is improving without yet being discovered. Moving here today means arriving before the crowds, before the prices rise, and before everyone else figures out what a few smart retirees already know. Number 3, Jasper. Jasper sits in Hamilton County in North Florida, and it holds a distinction that almost no other town on this list can claim. It is one of the least expensive places to live in the entire southeastern United States. For retirees whose Social Security check has to carry the full weight of monthly expenses, Jasper is not just affordable. It is quietly extraordinary. The Suwannee River runs just south of town, and the surrounding natural landscape has a wild, unhurried beauty that feels worlds away from Florida's tourist corridors. Stephen Foster Folk Culture. State Park, a short drive away, hosts live performances and cultural events throughout the year, giving Jasper residents access to genuine arts programming without paying city prices to live near it. Hamilton County has a deeply rooted agricultural character, and that heritage produces something increasingly rare in modern Florida, a community where people grow food, share it with neighbors, and maintain the kind of practical self-sufficiency that many retirees from rural backgrounds find deeply comforting. Jasper will not appeal to every retiree. It is honest about what it is: a small, quiet, genuinely affordable North Florida town with real nature, real community, and no pretense. For the right person, it is exactly enough. Number 2, Boniface. Boniface sits in Holmes County in the Florida Panhandle, and it is the kind of town where people still stop to hold doors open for strangers, and where the waitress at the local diner has worked there for 30 years and remembers your order by your third visit. That texture of life, genuine, slow, and rooted, is what Bonifay offers retirees who have had enough of anonymity. Holmes County has some of the lowest property tax rates in Florida, and combined with the state's absence of income tax, retirees here often find their monthly expenses drop by hundreds of dollars compared to where they moved from. That financial breathing room changes retirement from a source of quiet anxiety into something closer to what it was always supposed to be. The Florida Panhandle's famous white sand beaches at Grayton Beach and Seaside sit within comfortable driving distance, giving Bonifay residents access to some of the most beautiful coastline in the country without paying the coastal premium to live directly on it. That geographic sweet spot, rural affordability with coastal access, is genuinely rare and genuinely valuable. Retirees who have chosen Bonifay often describe it using the same word, peaceful. Not the manufactured peace of a gated community, but the real kind, earned through quiet mornings, unhurried afternoons, and a community that still knows how to sit together and simply be. Number 1. Graceville. Graceville sits in Jackson County in the far western corner of the Florida Panhandle, and the retirees who have found it describe a feeling that is difficult to put into words. The best way I can explain it is this. Graceville feels like the Florida that existed before Florida became an idea that everyone wanted to sell you. The town is small, quiet, and honest. Homes here cost a fraction of what they do in Miami, Tampa, or even most of North Florida. Property taxes in Jackson County are among the lowest in the state. The pace of daily life is unhurried in a way that does not feel imposed or artificial. It simply reflects a community that has never been in a rush because it has never had a reason to be. What makes Graceville the number 1 town on this list is not any single feature. It is the combination. The affordability that actually lasts, the community warmth that does not disappear after the first year, the proximity to the Chipola River and the surrounding natural landscape that gives retirees a daily connection to something beautiful and real, the absence of the noise, the traffic, the performance, and the pressure that retirement was supposed to leave behind. Retirees who move to Graceville are not settling. They are arriving. And the ones who have been here longest will tell you quietly, with complete sincerity, that it was the best decision they ever made. So here we are at the end of our journey through 10 of Florida's most quietly remarkable retirement towns. And I hope what you are feeling right now is not just surprise, but genuine possibility, because that is what these towns represent. Not a compromise, not a backup plan for people who could not afford Miami. These are deliberate choices made by retirees who looked carefully at what retirement actually requires. Affordable housing, accessible healthcare, real community, and mornings that do not begin with anxiety, and then found places that deliver all of it without the price tag that Florida's famous cities demand. What struck me most while researching every town on this list is how consistent the story was. Retirees who moved to Inverness, to Bonifay, to Graceville, they are not missing Miami. They are not wishing they had chosen differently. They are sleeping better, spending less, and knowing their neighbors by name. That combination, as simple as it sounds, turns out to be exactly what a meaningful retirement actually looks like in practice. Florida has always been a dream for retirees, but the version of that dream being sold on billboards and beach resort websites was never the whole picture. The real Florida, the one with quiet rivers, affordable porches, and communities where you are genuinely known, has been here the entire time. These 10 towns are proof that the retirement you actually want is still available. You just have to be willing to look somewhere nobody else is looking yet. If everything you just heard resonates with you, but you are not quite sure how to turn this list into a real plan, here is exactly how to approach it. Start by narrowing your list to 2 towns rather than 10. Watch this video again and pay attention to which towns made you pause. Not just the affordable ones, not just the pretty ones, but the ones that felt somehow familiar before you even visited. That instinct is worth listening to. Write those 2 names down and begin there. Before you visit, do one specific thing. Search the county property appraiser website for each town and spend 30 minutes looking at actual home prices in actual neighborhoods. Not Zillow estimates, not real estate marketing, the raw county data. That 30 minutes will tell you more about what retirement truly costs in each town than any article ever could. Then visit in person and visit twice. Once during a regular weekday in the late spring and once during a weekday in late summer. A town that feels peaceful in April may feel isolating in August. You need to see both versions before you commit to either one. When you visit, eat at a locally owned diner on a weekday morning. Sit at the counter if there is one. The conversations happening around you will tell you everything about the community's character that no review website ever captures. Ask the person next to you how long they have lived there and what they wish they had known before moving. Finally, connect with the local senior center or community center before you make any decision. Most of the towns on this list have active programs for adults over 65, and a single phone call to introduce yourself will tell you immediately whether this community is somewhere you genuinely belong. The right town is already on this list. The only step left is yours. Before you go, drop the name of the town that quietly stole your heart in the comments below. Because I promise you, someone scrolling through those comments right now is making the most important decision of their retirement. And your one word might be exactly what changes everything for them. If this journey meant something to you today, our previous video is waiting for you right here. Just as carefully researched, just as honest, just as real. Every single video we make costs us days of work, late nights, and genuine love for finding these hidden places for you. So if that means anything to you at all, subscribing is one click. It costs you absolutely nothing, and it means the entire world to a small channel that is simply trying to do good work. Thank you for being here. Truly, from the bottom of our hearts.